Hare
से संबंध नहीं जारा वृथा जन्म गेला तारा देश से पशु बर दूरा से पशु बर दुराचार निताई नव लीला मुखे मजिल संसार सुखे निताई विद्या कुले की करिबे तारा विद्या विद्या कुले की करिबे तारा अहंकारे मत होया निताई पद पसरिया असत्य सत्य करी मानी असत्य सत्य करी मानी নিতাই করুণা হবে ব্রজে রাধা কৃষ্ণ পাবে নিতাই ধর নিতাই চরণ দুখানি ধর ধর নিতাই চরণ দুখানি निताईर चरण सत्य ताहार सेवक नित्य निताई चरण सत्य ताहार सेवक नित्य निताई पद सदा कर आशा निताई पद নিতাই পদ সদা কর আশা নরতম বড় দুঃখী নিতাই মোরে কর সুখী নরতম বড় দুঃখী নিতাই মোরে কর সুখী রাখো রঙ্গ চরণের পা রাখো রঙ্গা চরণের পাশ হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Jaya Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Lalita Vishakha Jaya Radhe Shyam Lalita Vishakha Jaya Radhe Shyam Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Nitralaya Pravishta Jayang Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivajik Jajjashtotar Sata Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ षडगोस्वामी स्वयं प्रभुगण की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। जय श्री श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। जय श्री श्री पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। जय श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। जय श्री श्री द्वारका धाम की जय। जय श्री श्री अयोध्या धाम की जय। जय श्री श्री बद्रिका धाम की जय। जय श्री श्री गंगा मैया जमुना मैया की जय। जय कृष्ण भक्ति बदायनी बृंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। जय श्री श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्री श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय। उपस्थित समस्त भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर सीतानाथ प्रेमानंदे हरे। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू गुरुवान गौरंग श्रील प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते चैतन्य चंद्राय। ओम नमो भगवते चैतन्य चंद्राय। ओम नमो भगवते चैतन्य चंद्राय। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। Hare Krishna. So first of all, I will seek the blessings and mercy of all the assembled senior Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who are present here. Kindly bless me. So obviously this is my first English Chaitanya Charitamrita class. So I seek the mercy of all the assembled Vaishnavas and our Lordship Sri Sri Gaura Nitai, Krishna Balaram, Radha Shyamasundar, Lalita Vishakadevi, and Srila Prabhupada, all our previous Acharyas and Vaishnavas, so that I can properly discuss whatever I have understood from this chapter, this slok. Today we are going to discuss Adi Lila, chapter 5, and the entitled The Glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram, and we are going to discuss this verse number 69. So kindly repeat after me. Punarapi swasajeve pravese antare Swasasah Brahmanda pese Purusa sarire. Punarapi swasajabe pravesa antare Swasasah Brahmanda pese Purusa sarire. Punarapi swasajabe pravese antare Swasasah brahmanda pese purusa sarire. Punarapi swasajabe pravese antare Swasasah brahmanda pese purusa sarire. Punarapi swasajabe pravese antare Swasasah brahmanda pese purusa sarire. पुनरपि श्वास जबे प्रवेशे अंतरे श्वास सह ब्रह्मांड पेशे पुरुष शरीरे पुनरपि श्वास जबे प्रवेशे अंतरे श्वास सह ब्रह्मांड पेशे पुरुष शरीरे. The word meaning पुनरपि thereafter, श्वासा breath, jabe when, pravese enters, antare within, swasasaha with that inhaled breath, brahmanda universes, paise enter, purusha sarire within the body of the Lord. The translation and purport of this verse by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Therefore, when he inhales, all the universes again enter his body. Purport. In his form as Karanodakasai Vishnu, the Lord impregnates material nature by his glands. The transcendental molecules of the glands are particles of spirit or spiritual atoms, which appear in different species of life according to the seeds of their individual karma from the previous cosmic manifestation. And the Lord Himself, by His partial representation, creates a body of innumerable universes, and again enters each of these universes as Garbhodakasai Vishnu. His coming in contact with Maya is explained in the Bhagavad Gita by a comparison between air and the sky. The sky enters everything material, yet it is far away from us. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakya Chakshirunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Sopadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvitam Sa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyavaja Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo 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 Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratasi Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karati vachalam pangum langheti girim Jatkupatamah vande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Sri Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So, couple of days back, I had a meeting with our temple president, Panchagoda Prabhu. He gave me a very nice dose, very inspiring dose. That means you understood what I did, committed some offense, and he very politely corrected me. And one of the thing he told me, don't read in the class. It is, if I am not wrong, Prabhuji said, everybody will go to sleep. So then I thought, what to do? I am not very scholarly, neither I have any, I am a medical man. So if you ask to give a lecture on cardiac surgery, maybe I can speak for hours. But this is Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is the post-graduation level. So first of all, I will offer the prayer at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, which is the first verse of this chapter. Bande Ananta Bhuteishwaryam Sri Nityanandam Ishwaram Yasyachaya Tat Swarupam Agyenapi Nirupyate. So Lord Nityananda is the most merciful amongst all the deities who are here being worshipped. So all of you know how he delivered Jagai and Madhai. So this fallen soul is less than Jagai and Madhai. So with my small little intelligence, I'll try to discuss whatever I have understood from this verse, today's verse. So this is like that. Punarapi swasa jave pravese antare swasa saha brahmanda pese purusa sarire. The translation is, thereafter, when he inhales, all the universes again enter his body. So all of you have been hearing a wonderful class by His Grace Aranya Bihari Prabhu. I think last 2 classes he gave. It was very inspiring. So I heard his class 2-3 times. It was so much inspiring for me. So then I was thinking on this verse, today's verse, as you can see, we are discussing about the Mangal Āratī. In the Mangal Āratī there are 14 verses in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The first 6 describes the glories of Lord Chaitanya. And the next 5, that is 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11, it describes the glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram. So which is the end title of this chapter. So let us see on this, and you have heard on the 7th verse, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he had described the different 5 forms of Lord Nityananda. You know, all these 3 Purusha avatars, Ananta Sesha and all. So then, in the 8th verse of Mangal Āratī, he described what is Parambhyam. Parambhyam means the spiritual sky, and above it there is Siddha Lok. Those who achieve Siddhi, they go there. And also he described Maha Sankarsana. So these are the three aspects which are described in the verse number 8. And in the verse number 9, there is this current context which comprises of the verse number 50 to 92 of this chapter. So there, the Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is glorifying the glories of Karana Dhakasai Vishnu, that is Mahavishnu. So all of you know there are 3 Vishnus. Mahavishnu, he expands to Garbhodakasai Vishnu and then to Kshirodakasai Vishnu. So I am not going to detail. So Karanodakasai Vishnu, you have heard in the previous classes, he is the primary creator from whom everything creation starts. You know, you have heard in previous verses also how he glances upon the material nature. There was a question, I don't remember who asked the question in the last class. It was asked that whether Karanodakasai Vishnu directly glances upon Maya or through some agent. If I remember, I was hearing that class. So in Brahma Samhita I got a reference that Mahavishnu never directly contacts with the material energy. This is Durga Devi. So Bhaiya, there are different aspects. I am not going to detail who is Rama Devi, there are so many things. But in general, in Brahma Samhita it is described through this Sambhu, that is Lord Shiva. That's why if you go back to the previous verses, you can start from 65 maybe. 65, we can see. Dure haite purusa kare mayate avadhana jivarupa viryatate karena adhana. Dure haite means from a long distance, what the Purusa avatar, that is Karanodakasai Vishnu, does, he puts his glance. Glance consists of 2 things. One is the time factor, time potency, which is the impersonal aspect of Krishna. Krishna has 2 aspects, personal and impersonal. So time potency is the main thing. So today's whole discussion we have to hear and understand how time is treating everything. All these activities in this material world is being governed by the time energy of the Lord. So then he says, so from this Lord's eye, the time factor or the time potency goes, and in that lot of all these small spiritual atoms. Who are they? They are the jivas, different spirit souls. They get, they goes and they first touches Sambhu, Lord Shiva. From there it comes in the next verse. If you see, it is said, the reflected rays of his body. You can start 66. Can you show 66? Eka anga bhase kare mayate milana maya haite janme tabe brahmandera gana. So that means eka anga bhase, abhasa. You have heard that word abhasa. It is described in Nectar of Devotion. That means it's not a direct ray which touches the Maya. It is through Lord Shiva, Lord Shambhu. Because Shiva and Durga, they are husband and wife. They actually unite with each other to start this material creation. That's how it goes. And then Maya gives birth to different universes. So the thing is, Maya is the secondary creator. The primary creator is Mahavishnu. That is the understanding. Then what happens in the 67th and 68th verse, you can show Prabhuji. 67. This was not covered actually last class, so I am just repeating it. Aganya ananta jata anda sannivasa tatarupe purusa kare sabate prakasa. So aganya means unlimited. Ananta is unlimited. There are unlimited number of anda means universe. Sannivasa means, here Prabhupada translates a group of universes that comes. Actually what happens, as we know, we are exhaling, then inhaling, breathing. So Lord also exhales and inhales. When He exhales, all the universes that comes through His nostril. So many universes. Initially they are very small size, that grows and goes and gradually increase. You have seen the photograph of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is like something like footballs, We see in the parks, the people play the water games. So many balls are floating. So they keep increasing, and our universe is the smallest one. You know what is the diameter of our universe? It is 4 billion miles. Can you imagine? This is the smallest universe. So it keep on increasing, but there is no activity. Even once the universe is formed, it is all material, but there is no activity. How activity starts? Once the Vishnu, the same Karananda Gosai Vishnu, he expands himself as Garbhoda Gosai Vishnu. He enters and he is the one who starts all the activities. All the jivas are created, and you have heard how from the Pradhan, the 3 modes are created. From 3 modes, the Mahatattva is created. From Mahatattva, these it get agitated by the glance of this Mahavishnu, via Sambhu. So once that, and the jivas, the spirit soul, they are impregnated. Just like the husband, it impregnates the sperm into the womb of the mother, and then the pregnancy starts. It's the same thing, the Mahavishnu, these universes are, the jivas they are compared to the sperms, and the Prakriti is like the womb. So there are so many jivas, they get that corresponding body as per the previous impressions, the past cosmic. Here Prabhupada writes, in the previous cosmic annihilation, whatever desire, and the karma. Desire means karma. Yesterday Prabhuji was telling, desire means whatever you desire, whatever karmic reaction, karma we do, accordingly we get the body to fulfill that desire. And the main purpose of material creation is what? There are 2 things. One is for Lord's enjoyment, that is the higher aspect. But for us in general, why the material creation happens, and again annihilation, again creation, again annihilation. So many cycles are rotating. Lord is so compassionate, He just wants to give the chance to the living entity again and again and again and again and again, until a tinge of avidya, material, that is ignorance, conception. If the ignorance is there, the jiva cannot get delivered. As we know, there are different devotees, all of us, we are practicing bhakti yoga, but are all of us in Sattva Gun? No. Sometimes the passion predominates, or sometimes the ignorance predominates. So it's a mixture. So then in Skanda Puran, it is very nicely described. It is very exemplary. I heard my Guru Maharaj also telling in the same place. It was in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is going right now, the 3rd chapter. So what is the destiny of different kinds of devotees? Many of us have come from different backgrounds. Not that all of us are very well trained. We are culturally from different, different backgrounds. So many of us are mostly as in passion and ignorance. I hope everybody will agree. Because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we got this morning program and this wonderful Bhagavatam class, the holy name, which is trying to bring us to the platform of goodness, right? So let us see what are the destination as per Narad Muni he is describing in Skanda Purana. Who is telling? Narad Muni. Don't take it lightly. Narad Muni will never tell his lies. One devotee, he was asking me, Prabhuji, if you tell this, people will be very disappointed. I said, no, I will tell two aspects of it. Let us honest. Let us ask ourselves which mode we are. At least myself, purely in passion and ignorance, sometimes maybe in goodness, honestly. So, what is the destiny of those who are in mode of ignorance? You know what is the destiny? They go to Pitrulok. Where is Pitrulok located? It is near the, where? Hellish planet. It is down near the Patal Lok, below the Patal Lok, there is a hellish planet where Jamaraj rules. So one goes there, what will but then those who are in mode of passion, they are Rajogun, they are very they fruity mentality, they want something. So they go to enjoy, more and more enjoy in Swargalok. And those who are in mode of goodness, they go to Brahmalok. At least 100 lifetimes they have practiced without any failure, they have practiced Varnashram Dharma. They go to Brahmalok. So difficult. Varnashram Dharma is not so easy. You are a Brahmana, you have to follow all the 9 qualities of Brahmana should be there. You should be practicing it. Jajan, Jadan, Dan, Patigaran, Patan, Patan, all these things you have to practice. Then only you can go there. So difficult. But Prabhupada made it easy. Yesterday Prabhuji was telling by Hare Krishna Express you can go directly to Golok Vrindavan. Not so easy. So in this verse, we may be wondering why it is nothing. It looks very material, isn't it? We are discussing how the universe is created, how it is annihilated. It is material. What it has to do with spirituality. As a devotee, how it matters to us? No. In Laghu Bhagavata Mutta, Rupa Goswami says a very wonderful statement. It is there coming in the next verses, in this chapter itself. Rupa Goswami gives assurance that if one has understood the 3 Purusha avatars, he can get liberated from the birth and death cycle. It is there. It is Rupa Goswami's statement. And also, if you go to 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, it is described, Sukadeva Goswami is describing to Parikshit. Just before Parikshit Maharaj's death, he is going to be beaten up by Takshak snake, as per the curse by Sringi. Where the snake is going to bite? His leg. It is described like this. The snake bird, it is going to bite the leg. And Sukadeva Goswami, what is the need of telling this annihilation, 4 kinds of annihilation? He could have told Krishna Katha, he could have told some, how to remember Krishna, Antakalecha Maham Smaran Mukta Kalevaram. He could have told some other pastimes, how to make him, Parikshit Maharaj, remember Krishna. Why is describing this annihilation? It is to be understood. So he is preparing, the spiritual master, he is preparing the disciple how to face death. That is the job of the spiritual master. So as a spiritual master, Sukadeva Goswami, he is teaching Parikshit Maharaj through this annihilation process. So how many types of annihilations are there? Basically there are 4 types of annihilation. One is Nitya. You can say annihilation means it is Pralaya. Let us use the word Pralaya. It looks more, easy. So Pralaya means Nitya Pralaya. Nitya Pralaya means our body is there. In our medical field, we see microscopically so many changes. If you go to embryology, you can see every day how the seed, it becomes like a pea, then it slightly increases like a lemon, and it gradually increases. And all the microscopic thing we used to read in anatomy, in details, how the body parts are formed, how the heart is formed. So all these details are there. And just in the reverse order, the annihilation takes place, isn't it? So in Nitya Pralaya, so like we see our childhood photographs, we are looking something different. There are no mustache, it's totally different. A few days back, my brother sent a photograph of me. I was maybe around 2 months old. So I saw, who is this? It's totally like, you can't make out, isn't it? So many changes have come. And practically, by the influence of the time is so subtle. time factor is so sukma, means subtle, means it is so slow that we cannot make out that body is changing every second. Every second our body is changing. Just like Sukadeva Goswami gives an example, the sun is rotating at a very high speed. If I remember, it is some 16,000 miles or something per it is. Yeah, it's very high speed. But what is our perception? We cannot even see the sun movement. So the time factor, that is why it is very subtle. The reason is it's very subtle. So that is means our nails are growing. You see, every day we see, oh, nail is almost same, but within 5 days we say it's quite big. Hairs are growing very slowly. So this is also pralaya. All these skin cells are getting set off. So all these body neurons are dying. So this is also pralaya. This is called nitya pralaya. And one more pralaya, it is called naimitic pralaya. Naimitic means it is occasional annihilation. It doesn't happen every day, but occasionally. So what are the example? When it happens? When Lord Brahma, one day consisting of 12 hours, it is over. So it is around 1000 divya kalpa. Kalpa means Satya, Tritya, Dwapara and Kali. It amounts to around 430 crores of years. That many years after 12 hours of Brahma passes, and then the pralaya starts. And all the three worlds it is totally submerged with the water. And only in the lotus flower, Lord Brahma is sitting. Just imagine, that is one kind of pralaya, naimitic pralaya. And two more types of pralaya we are going to discuss. In this verse actually, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he says, he is describing the prakritik pralaya. It is called elemental annihilation. Elemental annihilation means whatever, like all these things we have heard from the previous classes, from Pradhan, Mahatattva, three modes, then Mahatattva, from there the false ego, then the false ego and mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, all these formations occur. So exactly in the reverse order, the annihilation starts. So it is described in the Sukadeva Goswami is telling to Parikshit Maharaj regarding Prakritik Pralaya. So for 100 years, there is no rain. Just imagine, for few days there is no rain, immediately people suffer. So there is drought, there is famine. So people, what will do? They eat each other. It is described in the 12th canto. They practically eat each other. The mother and father, they are planning, will eat today this son. Yes, it is there. And in fact, it is started already in Korea. I So, of course, if the food is not there, who knows? We have to survive. So, jiva jivasya jivanam. This scripture says we have to. So, then what happens? The sun is so scorching heat is there, the temperature increases. It is called devastation or annihilation form of the sun. It is not the regular sun we see. The temperature increases with so many. So, you imagine for 100 years this happens. And simultaneously, this is from up. Not only that, there are innumerable universes which are resting on the hood of Ananta says. Just like a mustard seed, right? So then from Ananta's mouth, Anantadeva's mouth, the devastation of fire comes. And there is a very great and terrible wind which blows. And that fire, it spreads all across the universe. You have seen the cow dung, these Brajavasis they use, they burn it in fire. So the whole universe looks like a cow dung in fire. It's like a red glowing thing like that. So imagine everything gets burned into ashes practically. That is called Prakritik Pralaya. So then after that, so everything is gone. So all the jivas are gone. Their body is destroyed. So only spirit soul remains. So then for 100 years, what happens? There is great wind, terrible wind. So that wind, whatever is left out, this ashes, this grey in color, that goes into the sky. The whole sky becomes grey, full of these dust particles. For 100 years, there is a wind, devastation wind. I'm just sticking to the topic because the sloka today's verse is based on devastation. That is laya. Laya means withdrawal of the creation. So I'm just describing that. So then, this goes on for 100 years. Then after that, there is Samvartaka cloud. Indra, he tried with Govardhan Lila. That's torrents of rain. It's described like these pillars. The rain, this column, like these pillars are the column. That big is the water column, and it practically inundates all the 14 planetary systems. So everything is destroyed. Even the Brahma, that happens actually after 100 years of Brahma, which comprises, I think, 3 trillion, 20 billion some years. It's a huge figure. So after that many years, the Brahma also, during Naimitic Pralaya, an occasional Brahma sleeps. And then when he wakes up, another creation starts. But here, in Prakritic Pralaya, what happens? Brahma also dies and he leaves his body. He goes. So everything. So now we have to understand. Little philosophical, try to hear attentively. It's not difficult. So now the entire universe is full of what? Water. So as we know from the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air and ether. So once water is formed, what will happen to the earth? It will dissolve. What is the nature of the earth? You see, the ether, what is the tanmatra? Is sound. And the air as sound plus touch. And fire, sound, touch plus form. And then water, sound, touch, form and plus taste. And earth is all 4 plus fragrance. So the fragrance part of the earth is taken away. It is described, it seizes the fragrance part. So the earth becomes merged with the water. So everything, there is no more earth. Earth is gone. You'll find only water. Just try to, just imagine a little bit. Stretch your imagination. So then whole thing, water is there. So what is the previous element of water? Is fire. Okay. So what fire does is, what is the quality of the water? Is the taste. So fire consumes the taste quality. That means it seizes the taste. So what it remains, the water also merges with the fire. You understand? It's not difficult. So it's just happening in the reverse order. So then now the fire only remains. So what is the previous year of the fire? Is the air. So air, what it does, it seizes the form element of the fire. So that is the characteristic of the fire. So once form is gone, fire doesn't exist. It merges with the air. So similarly, the previous to the air is the ether. And ether, it consumes the touch quality of the air. So once that is gone, so that also, everything merges with the ether, that is sky. So ether's quality is the sound. Then the false ego in ignorance. I hope you are remembering. If you remember the creation, you are just going back. Try to rewind your tape recorder, So then the false ego in ignorance, it consumes the ether. So there is no Mahasunya. I was just thinking, this sky is something like vacuum. It is also material. It is a content of Krishna's body, Mahavishnu's body. It is nothing. We cannot understand, our mind cannot conceive, but it is also matter. So that also goes into the false ego. And the false ego in passion, that consumes all the senses. That is 5 working senses, 5 knowledge acquiring senses. So senses are gone, ether is gone. So now all the demigods of corresponding senses, Devata. So they are also consumed by the false ego in mode of goodness. So now everything is gone, only false ego stays. So the false ego, so what is the previous form of false ego? Is Mahatattva. So Mahatattva, it consumes the entire false ego. So that is also absorbed or merges with the Mahatattva. So in the 3 modes, which is prior to the Mahatattva, that also consumes the Mahatattva. See, just reverse, I am going as per this description. And then 3 modes, they, Sattva, Raja and Tama, they are consumed by Pradhan. Now we are coming back. So what is the factor which started this creation? The time. You remember, I said the glance. That the time potency is doing everything. Because of time, all things happen. And once the Lord withdraws the time factor, everything goes back. One devotee was saying, I was in Hyderabad that time, he was telling, the entire spiritual world and the material world is coming from Krishna. If Krishna will withdraw everything, then nothing will remain. Of course, Krishna doesn't do that. I'm just giving an analogy to understand. So that is how this annihilation process that goes on. So I'm coming to the Pradhan. So let us understand what is Pradhan. Pradhan means it cannot be described in word. See, it doesn't have a mind. There is no senses. There is no life here. There is no demigods. So how to describe a thing? It should have some characteristic. There is no characteristic. It is called avyakta or unmanifest. It is infallible. It is eternal. That is pradhan. Little bit understand. It's little philosophical. I don't know whether you are getting me or not. And there is no three modes. There is no 14 arrangement of 14 planetary system. Everything is absent in pradhan. And there is no pancha mahabhut. And what remains is the soul. The soul is still there. The soul is still there. And what is the characteristic of the soul? Is the consciousness. As we know, the consciousness has 3 levels. Of course, there are 5 levels, but for human being, at least the jiva, that is the awake state, sleeping state, and deep sleep. There are 3 stages. So all this consciousness, that also gradually got to be done. That means pradhan has no consciousness. It's like something like void. It is something like deep sleep. That is the situation of the soul. Just imagine in Mahavishnu's body, everything is withdrawn. The soul will remain for sleep, deep sleep for a long period till the next creation happens. And the pradhan is also there. But now the question is, why, as a devotee, what is our role? Our importance we should give is atyantik pralaya. Atyantik pralaya means it is cutting of the false ego. What is the junction point of spirit and the matter is the false ego. Once false ego goes away, the spirit is freed. That means janma karma mecha divyam evam jo veti tattatah tyakta deham punarjanma naiti mameti sarjana. Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, if one understands all these Purusha avatars very nicely and his false ego, it's not easy to remove the false ego. Only Krishna can remove this false ego. Only Krishna can remove this false ego. So that is the importance. So then, Atyantik Pralaya means it is also called ultimate or the final devastation or the final annihilation. So there, what happens, how to remove the false ego? As a practicing devotee, we are coming to Bhagavatam class every day. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So it is described in the first canto, second chapter, verse number 16 to 21, Prabhu. That the different stages, what is the importance of hearing Krishna Kathas. Sunvatam Sukata Krishna, Punya Sravana Kirtan, and that series of slokas are there. Prabhuji one time gave a very wonderful series to some of the brahmacharis, I heard. Very nicely it was explained, just by attending Bhagavad class regularly, all these ahankar, slowly, it will get. It's not like something like physical. The Bhagavatam will cut the knot. No. It's not like that. It's like one will acquire some positive transcendental knowledge. So by that knowledge, and of course chanting up Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. I know it's a little boring, but what to do? This subject is like that. So by just these 2 processes, the false ego ahankar, it's very difficult. Always you see, that's why we get chastised when Prabhupada used to chastise. You have so much ego, false ego. So once we understand, we acquire that knowledge, then true ego comes out, that we become humble, we are servant of Krishna, then we surrender to Krishna. This is indirect process of making one surrender to Krishna. So unless the spiritual master and the Grantha Bhagavatam and Vyakti Bhagavatam, person Bhagavatam, they induce her to do devotional service, pure devotional service, then only this ahankara will go. Then one is God realized, and Krishna, and he makes us free, the soul is free, and there is a formation of a spiritual body. Few days back, our Gopal Prabhu passed away. I heard very nicely Prabhuji was doing the glorification. And before that, Badrinarayan Maharaj, so many devotees they are passing away. One time I asked my Guru Maharaj, so what will happen to them? Gurudev said, they will acquire a spiritual body. Because they have 100%, they have dedicated their life for the service of the spiritual master. That is the criteria. If you are fully dedicated, that means your body is no more material. This is the last birth. And then, I was hearing this lecture today morning. I used to hear Bhagavad Gita just during doing tilak. So I heard, coincidentally, Prabhupada is telling this to his disciples. Prabhupada is telling, The one disciple asked, what is this atom? Is there any something called spiritual atom? Prabhu said, yes, just like material atom, there are spiritual atoms also. Then what is the significance? Prabhu said, the same spirit soul, just like around the spirit soul, the material body is formed in the mother's womb. Similarly, in the spiritual world, around this spirit soul, the spirit atoms, spiritual atoms, they aggregate to form a Satchid Anandamaya body. That means we will get a spiritual body. Then only we can get free from this clutches of material world. You got my point? So that is how, and it comes by pure devotion. The point is that bhakti only. There is no other. Yeah. So the analogy, I don't know, means 10 minutes is there. To understand, just like this light is there. So from the light, the bulb is there, electricity is there, and it is emitting some lights, and we can see some objects. But ultimately, try to understand. This is little again philosophical. So then, ultimately, everything is fire. The light is fire, the rays are fire, and the objects of vision are fire. I am trying to make you understand regarding this pradhan. It is very difficult actually. But the same thing, actually nothing is material. Everything is, because everything comes from Mahavishnu's body. How it can be material? It is a consciousness. It's a level of consciousness to appreciate the thing. And how Krishna bewilders us? How Krishna bewilders us? He bewilders our consciousness by the agency of Maya. Isn't it? So this like this, the three types of consciousness, awake, sleep and deep sleep. So this stage is when the soul is implicated by these three things. So then he becomes impure, that is contaminated. Then he thinks this is a fan, these are all relative. Ultimately in this end of this chapter, Sukadeva Goswami says to Parikshit Maharaj, everything this material world is unreal. Only the spirit soul and the Paramatma. Of course the holy name, that is not different from Krishna. But these two are the only thing which is eternal. All other things, of course, in one sense, since they get transformed, the 5 subject matters of Bhagavad Gita except karma, all 4 are eternal. Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti and Kala, all are eternal. That's true. But here, Krishna is telling, unless one is fully pure, that means fully Krishna conscious, and Purna Vikasita Chetana, then only one can get freed from illusion. Once illusion is gone, we are free, then our thing is done. So now to conclude this chapter, I will like to summarize that today we discuss, of course one point I like to describe, Prabhuji, can I show that Bhagavad Gita slokas? It is described in this purport, actually I forgot. In his form as Karanodakasai Vishnu, the Lord impregnates material nature by his glance. That I have described. How by glance the material nature become pregnant on all the living beings. Jiva Goswami very nicely describes in the Bhakti Sandarbha. He says, the Lord, once he sees, just like, sometimes we see this, not nowadays, maybe some movies or something, the master, he gives some indication to the dancer, then the dancer starts dancing. There is some hint they gives. So similarly, Jiva Goswami says, this Mahavishnu's glance is just like a hint for the Maya. Then the 3 modes starts dancing. It is described exactly. One time I was giving a class in regarding the Yoga Maya in Hindi Srimad Bhagavatam. It is described. So now, coming to the conclusion, that in this material world we are suffering so many miserable conditions. So Parikshit Maharaj is advised, he is being given the knowledge from Sukadeva Goswami regarding this Sansara Dava. So Sukadeva Goswami finally says, it comes in the 4th chapter of 12th canto, towards the last verses, it is said that the only boat by which this material world one can navigate through is by the holy name and the slightest appreciation. It's not full appreciation. Bhagavatam is vast. One cannot fully understand Bhagavatam or maybe all the Vedic literature. Little appreciation or partial appreciation, one will get delivered. So from the metal clutches. And then regarding the time, as I said, Abhyartha Kalatvam is one of the 9 symptoms of Kyanti Abhyartha Kalatvam, Viraktir Mana Sunyata, Asavanda Samutkanta Namagane Sadaruchi. Asakti tad gunakhyane, priti tad vasati sthala. These are the 9 symptoms of bhava bhakti. So, as a practicing sadhakas, we have to be very, very careful. Not a single, like Prabhupada should say, not a single moment we should waste. Because time factor is so subtle, we cannot understand also. Just like if you go to Kamyavan, there is a kunda called Jakhya Kund. It's near the Kameswar Mahadev. So there, the Panchu Pandavas, they were living there. And then one time they were very thirsty and Yudhishthira Maharaj sent them, get some water. Then, and this Jamaraj, he was standing there in form of a Jakhya. So he asked certain questions. First Arjun went. He said, Khavardar, stop, don't drink that water. If you drink, you will die. But Arjun didn't listen. He was so thirsty, he started and he fell unconscious. Then Bhim, Nakul, Sahadev, all 4 they dead practically. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj happened, what is happening? Why no, they are not coming back? So he personally went. Then he saw one person is standing. Then he asked 10 questions. Out of that, one question was, that what is the most wonderful thing in this world you see? And he said, everybody is dying. Every day so many people are dying. But everybody is thinking, I will not die. This is the most one. So it was coming to my mind. So then, and Yudhishthira Maharaj answers all the questions. Then he asked, whom you should get alive? He said, either Nakul or Sahadev. Why? Because we are son of Kunti, Arjuna and Bhim. At least I am alive. But Madri, she doesn't have. One of her sons should be. So like that it goes on. So the whole point is, the time factor, it erodes everything. Whatever we, fame, name, power, position, even in bhakti, we get some power, position, how long it will last? One day you have to give up everything. So this concept, Sukadeva Goswami is making Parikshit Maharaj detached. And finally, he Sukadeva Goswami made Parikshit Maharaj realize that in this world, whatever has a beginning and end, it is unreal. Nothing is real. So don't get attached. Because our attachment, slightest tinge of attachment, and we will come back to take birth again. So then in the next chapter it is described how this Taksyak, actually Parikshit Maharaj so much observed in this episode of Srimad Bhagavatam, he practically left his body. So Taksyak snake, it practically bit the dead body of Parikshit. He was not alive. So he could not feel the pain of snake bite. Death pain he felt, 40,000 scorpion biting together. But at least this snake bite, which is very, very painful, he didn't. So it is because of the grace of his spiritual master. So with this, I will like to stop here. But one thing, just maybe 1 minute is there. It is described in the purport. If you see, his coming in contact with Maya is explained in Bhagavad Gita by the comparison between air and sky. It is there in the Bhagavad Gita slokas, but time is not there. But again, it will be more philosophical. The whole idea is the space. The topic is like that, what can I do? The space is there everywhere, but it is not attached. Try to understand. One thing if you understand, as a conditioned soul, what is the difference in liberated soul and conditioned soul? Conditioned soul is attached. But the liberated soul, he is present amongst, like us, he is there, but he is not attached. He is at the level of the Lord. Similarly, the Lord is present everywhere, but he is not attached. This is the statement by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, based on this verse. So similarly, but the point is, unless one is at that level, even if little, when consciousness is not pure, we will get attached. So because of the attachment, we cannot get free. And Baldev Vidyabhushan, he writes, everything happens as per the supreme will of the Lord. So unless Lord's will is there, nothing is going to happen. So we have to pray by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Maybe one day, by the supreme will of the Lord, we will also be able to cut the knot of false ego. Grantaraj Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So I need some comment from Prabhuji.
You were explaining that I said don't read, and it wasn't like that. It was like, you see how animated he was and more expressive Now, you could have been reading and reading and reading high philosophical subject matter, which was nice. And sometimes read, I mean, you have to read the translation purport sometimes. But when you can express, your ideas to the audience, it's more, I think it's more impact. So like, if a guru puja offering, Vyasa puja offering to your guru, anybody can sit and read some shlokas, that's okay. But Prabhupada said that you should just express your feelings of surrender and appreciation for the guidance and his ability to give you God consciousness and your great fortune of being for that opportunity, whatever. But so that's what I was referring to. Not that we're against reading. He was so much more animated this time.
Thank you, Prabhu.
We could have gone another hour. Get ready for another hour.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks for excellent class. Very nice. So the question is, you spoke about all the different creation, different levels, and then you mentioned about annihilation goes in the reverse order, and then you talk about Pradhan. So my question is, let's assume this is time for annihilation, and on this planet we have devotees as well as non-devotees both. Now the annihilation time has come. Now the soul enters Mahavishnu's body and Krishna's body. So when the body enters the body, it's like it enters the Atma or whatever is our desire at the time of that. Both the Atma, it comes along with Paramatma. Now this creation doesn't happen for thousands of years. So the question is, after the creation happened after thousands of years, now there are souls of devotees who are Krishna Bhakt and thus non-devotees. So the first question is, how does all these things being stored? Because when we talk about the technology, this place that. So what exactly, from where all this information is retrieved, and what happens at devotees and non-devotees in that case?
Yes. So, Krishna, he is called Sarvagya. He knows past, future and present of all the single Jivatma. Krishna is so great, you name even a bacteria, virus, he knows what karmic reaction he has. So ultimately, Krishna knows everything. Then under the supervision of different demigods, as I mentioned, the next body will be given as per the karma, and it's mentioned in Prabhupada directly wrote in the purport, as per the desire and actions in the previous annihilation of the previous cosmic creation. That thing is recorded, and accordingly the body is given. If you are a devotee, you have finished 90%, rest 10% you will finish in this life. So it is very systematic. There is nothing. So the decision is done by Krishna through agency of different demigods. That is why in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, what is Kapil Dev, Lord Kapil Dev teaches the same thing to Devahuti. Prakriti, what is that verse, Prabhuji? I'm just forgetting the words. Jantra, nahin. Karmana Daive Netrana, that verse. Karmana. So by the superior arrangement, the supervision of the different demigods, all the karmas, it is decided and suitable body is given. And mostly, you have to remember, Lord is always anxious to give a chance to even to conditioned soul, what is speak of a devotee. Definitely is going to take birth in a devotee's family or a pious family where he can start his bhakti, whatever he has left. And the only concern of the Mahavishnu, his only worry is how to make it free. The Jivatma should be free and go back to Godhead. He is always anxious. He is so merciful, he is so much concerned. Even we don't realize that. We are not that much concerned. So Krishna is more worried. So that is how it happens. Hopefully. Hare Krishna. Time is there? No. No time. Okay, Granthara Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sthit Samasta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Sitanath Premanand. So any minute you are welcome. Please correct me if I have done something.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna